Welcome to this explainer. Okay, so if you've ever been lucky enough to be around Friesian horses, you already know there's absolutely nothing quite like the tension, the sheer beauty, and just the pure buzzing excitement of an inspection day. But let's be real, if you're relatively new to the breed, trying to demystify that highly complex Dutch judging and scoring system, well, it can honestly feel like you're trying to learn a completely different language. But don't worry, because that is exactly what we're going to tackle today. We are going to break down all the criteria, the underlying math, and those incredibly strict standards that make the Friesian breed so spectacular.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for the journey we'll take through an inspection day. 1. Welcome to the Keuring. 2. Movement versus conformation. 3. Reading the linear scorecard. 4. Understanding the premium rankings. And finally, 5. The path to predicates.
Section 1. Welcome to the Keuring.
So picture this. You're standing right there on the rail of the arena. The energy in the air is totally buzzing. You see the handlers dressed in their traditional bright white uniforms. And actually, that stark contrast is designed specifically so the judges can focus entirely on those stunning jet black horses. Now, if you're a focused learner or a newer breeder standing there, you probably want to know exactly what those judges are watching for as these magnificent animals trot right past you. Understanding the mechanics of this event is absolutely essential if you want to truly appreciate the breed.
Let's define what we're actually watching here. A Keuring is simply the Dutch word for an inspection or an evaluation, and this event, it is the absolute foundation of Friesian breeding. Once a year, teams of highly qualified officials from the KFPS studbook travel all the way from the Netherlands to North America and really around the globe to meticulously evaluate these horses. They're judged in hand, meaning they are led by a handler on the ground rather than being ridden, and the ultimate goal of this entire rigorous process is to continuously upgrade and fiercely protect the genetics of the breeding program.
Moving right along to Section 2, Movement versus Conformation.
So, the crucial point here is the math. Notice the heavy imbalance in the evaluation criteria. While the physical beauty of the Friesian is obviously legendary, I mean, you have the flowing hair, the noble head, that proud carriage, athletic movement actually carries the majority of the weight in the judge's eyes. It is a strict 60% to 40% split. Basically, movement is king. A ridiculously beautiful horse that just cannot move well simply isn't going to score well.
And this heavy focus on movement is incredibly intentional. The registry's breeding objectives are super clear. They strongly advocate for a modern Friesian horse. Historically, Friesians were often heavier agricultural horses, literally used to pull plows and heavy carts. But today, the breed has evolved into a highly athletic, modern sport horse that's totally capable of elite dressage and driving. That 60% emphasis, it ensures that only horses with true, proven athletic capacity are the ones being rewarded.
When you're sitting there watching the Keuring, you're going to notice the handlers leading the horses on this large triangular track. And that isn't random at all. The judges actually use the long sides of that entire triangular arena to critically evaluate the walk and the trot. In that exact moment, they're watching for a long, ground-covering length of stride. They really want to see suppleness flowing right through the horse's back, and they're looking for just immense power pushing from the hindquarters, which naturally elevates the horse's front end. The trot should literally look like it's soaring, with very clear suspension in the air.
Let's move into Section 3, Reading the Linear Scorecard.
27. Seriously, lock that number in your head for a second. This represents the incredible level of anatomical detail captured by the KFPS judges. When an adult horse is inspected, they are plotted against exactly 27 specific linear physical traits. We're talking everything from the exact slope of the shoulder all the way down to the length of the stride. Now, what's really interesting about this scorecard is how it's actually divided into two distinct parts, an upper bar and a lower bar. The upper bar is basically a descriptive anatomical index. It doesn't actually tell you if a trait is inherently good or bad. Rather, it just plots those 27 physical traits on a sliding spectrum. So, for example, it might measure a head from plain on one side to noble on the other, or a stance from toeing in to toeing out. The lower bar, however, is your actual evaluative grade. That one assigns a hard numerical score to 5 broad categories: breed type, conformation, legwork, walk, and trot.
The practical application of this scorecard is where the real magic of breeding happens. Because, trust me, this isn't just some report card you just stick on your fridge and forget about.
Breeders use these linear score sheets to objectively pinpoint a mare's exact physical weaknesses. Let's say her upper bar shows her back is a little bit weak. Well, the breeder will then go consult the published composite scores of approved stallions and selectively choose a sire who statistically passes on a very strong back. Doing this corrects that flaw in the very next generation of foals. It is literally a calculated, multi-generational game of chess.
Okay, Section 4. Understanding the premium rankings.
Let's look at how this builds. The awards given out to the foals and adult horses are called premies, or premiums, and it is a very strict hierarchy. A first premium, that is reserved for the absolute best of the best on that specific judging day. Those are the horses that exemplify the very top standard. A second premium indicates a horse of very good quality, maybe just with some minor remarks. And then a third premium is the most common, acceptable tier for entry into the stud book. It essentially gives owners a crystal clear benchmark of exactly where their horse stands against the ideal standard of the breed.
But hey, it's important to clarify why a horse might sometimes walk away entirely empty-handed with a no premium designation. Sometimes, yeah, this is due to genuine conformational faults or maybe just poor overall quality. Other times it's a super strict breed standard issue, like having unacceptable white markings on the legs of the body. And honestly, quite often it's literally just bad luck. A temporary unsoundness, like say the horse just bumped its leg in the trailer on the way over and is stepping slightly off on judging day. That will result in no premium being awarded. It definitely doesn't mean the horse is ruined forever, it just means they couldn't be evaluated fairly on that specific afternoon.
Finally, Section 5, the path to predicates.
So the KFPS uses a very strict chronological ascension to reward elite horses throughout their lifetimes. When a horse hits age 3, a really top quality individual might earn the star or stir predicate. And that's tough to get. It's awarded only to the top 25 to 30% of inspected adults. But the pyramid just keeps getting narrower from there. A star mare can ascend to the crown predicate, but only if she passes a super strict ridden or driven performance test. And finally, at age 7 or older, comes the model predicate. That is the absolute pinnacle of the mare population.
Reaching that ultimate model status? Oh, it is a multifaceted gauntlet. First, she must already be a star or crown mare. She has to be at least 7 years old and stand a tall minimum of 120-60 meters right at the withers. Furthermore, she actually has to prove her durability and fertility by having successfully nursed a foal. And then, on top of all that, she must score an 8.0 or higher on her conformation inspection and pass a grueling performance test. It really is the ultimate test of beauty, true athleticism, and proven breeding capability.
But the titles don't just stop at the individual horse's physical traits. The Preferent title is all about honoring a horse's lifelong genetic legacy. This is an honorary predicate awarded to mares that have successfully produced at least 4 high-quality, star-level offspring. For stallions, it's awarded when their progeny consistently prove to be exceptional and show a determining, really lasting influence on the Friesian breed as a whole. Ultimately, it's all about what you leave behind.
And this brilliantly illustrates that while a lot of these predicates focus heavily on conformation and breeding, the KFPS also massively rewards top-tier, real-world athletic performance. The Sport Elite predicate? It has absolutely nothing to do with standing in hand. It requires the horse to achieve at least 5 scores of 60% or higher at the highly advanced Prix Georges level in competitive dressage. It is absolute proof positive of the Friesian's capability as an elite sport horse.
So, we've covered the 60-40 split. We've decoded all 27 of those traits, and we've climbed that steep pyramid of premiums and predicates. The very next time you stand ringside at a Keuring, you won't just be looking at beautiful horses. You'll actually be reading the future of the breed in real time. The only question is, will you be able to spot the next model mare before the judges do?